The biopic holds nothing back, exploring every facet of Yankovic's life. What I think we need is, as a society, to just realize that having all that stuff worse, but in one place at the same time.
Pod racing is just chariot racing, and I do love that.
Now I thought that was like a well-known thing, but Dan,
Yes.
raise them up and crack them open.
Cracking open a cold one with the singular boy.
Sometimes a cold one with the boys can be an intimate thing with just two people.
Two boys chilling on a podcast.
Who's the cowboy
500
with the
miles
big white
apart because they're not
mustache?
gay.
Sam Elliott. Sam Elliott comes in and is like, sometimes cracking open a cold one with the boys. You know what I just said.
Yeah.
Except
But better.
he does it in a cool, sexier way because
You love Sam Elliott's voice.
Oh, I love his voice so much.
All right.
Anyway,
Hold on.
bottoms up, Dan. It's the summer edition Red Bull. Anyone who hasn't had this yet, this is a strawberry apricot Red Bull. Longtime listeners will know Hi has held us at gunpoint and said, if you don't review every new Red Bull flavor that comes out, I will personally come to your homes and eat your ass. And we're like, Hi, you gotta calm down with this. But the demand has been made and we will meet it. So here's the strawberry apricot.
Let's see.
And I have a confession to make. I've been drinking these for the last month because they're so good.
Huh.
I love these things.
That
so
is
much.
Is it weird to call it like a full flavor? Like it almost has like
I
a
think-
thickness to it, if that makes any sense.
I was literally about to say I don't know what it is, but it almost tastes creamy.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a strawberry apricot cream thing, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have it. Yogurt.
Mm.
That's it. It's yogurty.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of the yogurt soju.
It reminds me of yeah, I could actually see that. I just had that the other day, actually. Super good. Anyway, I don't hate it.
But yeah,
Definitely wouldn't be like my. I get why you like it. Definitely wouldn't be my like number one go-to. Dragon fruit still takes the cake on that, but it's good.
On that note, thrilled to death that dragon fruit was a breakout hit enough for them that they kept it
just
around
kept
as
it?
their permanent green flavor.
I know. I'm so happy.
Nina and I were at the store the other day, and there were some energy drinks being branded as a cactus fruit or dragon fruit thing. And Nina's like, "Oh yeah, now that Red Bull's summer thing is over," I'm like, "Actually," and I pointed 3 feet to the left, and there it was. And I'm like, "They kept that, so I'm really not sure what's going on." Yeah, everyone wanted in on it was what she was saying, and I can't blame them. This is
It's
last
tasty.
year's summer edition was good. This year's summer edition, it's very fun. And I don't know if this might just be a me thing. Maybe it's just been a while since I had a different Red Bull flavor. These bubbles feel different.
I see what you mean.
And I don't know if that's me being tricked by the almost yogurty note of it,
Mhm.
or if it actually tastes different.
I also don't know.
But regardless, I love it.
yeah, I definitely enjoy it quite a bit. This is good. This is a good vibe.
And honestly, though, Dan, you know what goes great with Red Bull
What
is
goes great with Red Bull?
dangerous activities.
Okay, because
And,
Red Bull gives you wings,
you
as
know,
we all know.
Red Bull gives you
Not
wings,
hashtag
and
not
with
sponsored.
wings you can fly. And
Dan,
Dan,
I gotten in trouble for that phrase. Like, note does not, because I know on some of their commercials they literally do have note does not actually give you wings.
it does. I don't know.
All right, I'll watch this. Well, you
But,
sent me something.
Yeah. So I opened up Twitter right before we started recording, and I saw the most insane
Holy
video.
Shit.
People have reinvented chariot races, Dan, and it's people doing the thing that everyone's always joked about, which is driving two motorcycles in a harness from a bucket in the back. Here it is, the future of sports. Motorcycle chariot races.
Holy shit.
Now, I don't know if you noticed, but they're doing this all the right way. People aren't going to be able to see this because obvious reasons, but they have neon rope lights connected to the reins.
Correct.
There's neon trim
Correct.
on these things. These things are lit up and flying.
And here's
And it looks
here's
like
the
they
other
also
very-
have a GoPro in front of each of them.
And they did a really
So-
the harness that they have holding the bikes together makes it so that you can't unless you hard pull one side or the other, you're not gonna be able to tip the whole thing over, which is really cleverly
You're
done.
gonna have to try and tip the whole thing.
You really can't because that would be my kind of concern if you were just slapping two motorbikes side by side, you're gonna tip one over. No, you're not tipping that shit over.
No, Yeah, it's basically a car that just has two handles so that they can use the reins because I believe they're set up also so you can't turn one wheel without the other. It kind of looks like.
That sounds correct.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at that and they worked out, hey, here's how we're gonna do reins on a fucking chariot of motorcycles.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what they did. They went, how can we do this? And then we spent so little time asking why, we didn't stop to think whether or not we should.
I'm so glad they didn't though.
I'm
Because
also
if
really
they'd
glad they
stopped to
didn't.
ask if they should, we wouldn't be given this absolutely insane. I mean, look at the video. This is
Yeah.
a packed stadium.
Yeah. No, I don't know
Like,
what's
this
going on
is-
here, but this also, I will say, this also has massive redneck energy. Like unimaginably large redneck energy, I feel like.
Here's the thing.
But
it's
this is
big
like good redneck
energy,
not bad redneck energy,
but
good redneck
not like
energy.
most redneck energy. In fairness, isn't bad. It's redneck energy, he 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 he, that is bad. Not
That's
like
fair.
most things are not too terrible.
That's fair. And I apologize
but,
if
like-
it made it sound otherwise, because that is correct.
No. It literally doesn't matter. I don't give a shit. But I love this. It's a big oval. They're racing. It's literally this is
Rapping.
just the Coliseum setup, except you got beer ads. I want to know where this is because I don't know where this is, but I see everything's in English. So
Yeah,
like,
I'm gonna put in. I'm gonna say it.
if
I
this
think
isn't America, I would be surprised.
Yeah, it's definitely America. That's not even. I don't even think that's a question. I don't think there's any world in which this couldn't be America.
Simultaneously. If this was in India, I also wouldn't be surprised because I feel like they also have a lot of this same energy. We just never see it.
You know what? I think it's valid.
And every now and then I'll have a video come across my feed that's the most batshit insanely cool thing. And I'm like, what the hell? What is this? And it's like just something that happens in India sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I see you. Yeah.
All I know is
rad.
it's not in England because they don't have enough space to set something up like this.
This is a gift.
This is so cool.
This is what boys should be. Boys
I want to be. The reason I saw it was because I saw a guy retweet it saying it doesn't have to be dudes doing this, but this is what dudes rocking is all about. I feel like you've said the boys will be boys thing recently, right?
I think I said it last week as well.
I was gonna say I've heard a lot of this is what boys will be boys means in the last like week, and I'm all here for it.
No, I agree. We need to. I mean, in this like high horse, whatever. Like, I do feel like that phrase has gotten co-opted by people being shitty, and it shouldn't be. Like,
Yeah, like brushing it off as a I don't think it's co-opted because I think it was birthed by people trying to excuse shitty actions.
that's fair.
However, it has definitely evolved into, hey, it actually should mean two dudes sitting in metal buckets driving motorcycles ripping down a roadway.
God, I love everything about
This
it.
is so cool.
It's so dumb.
It's so cool.
It's so fucking stupid. I love it so much. 10 out of 10 dumbass. It's 10 out of 10 dumbass behavior is what it is. Like,
it's 10. Like, you would see this in a movie.
yeah, 100%.
Like, in some post-apocalypse movie starring
it's
what's
the new
his
Mad
name
Max.
from the Venom movies. It's definitely like it's not Mad Max, but it is someone who's like watched Mad Max and they're like, I want to make that movie. What do you mean they already made it? Fuck. Okay, so instead of fighting over water, they're fighting over control of the desert. Oh, real original. And then there's chariot races, but the chariots are motorcycles. Except
So
there'd be
good.
like this artfully crafted horse head on the front of each motorcycle.
I like that somebody in the
Now,
comments here
wish-
has made reference to the fact that pod racing is just chariot racing, and I do love that.
Now I thought that was like a well-known thing, but
I
if
have
people
not
hadn't
considered
realized that,
I have
I'm
not
glad that-
considered that parallel, to be honest.
oh really?
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, like it's literally like, yeah, no shit, but I don't know. Never made that connection. I have no excuse for my failures.
Well, I mean,
Into
that's
exile,
fine.
into exile. I must go. Fuck, I love it.
You know what?
I love it. It brings me
But
much joy.
and here's something I wish Jackson was here right now instead of busy, because I think he could really get behind this thought. Either that, or he'd be like, "Why are you trying to move backward?" I really have been very, very much so recently in love with the idea of taking progress and setting it back a hot second, and not like social progress. I'm
So,
talking about
reject
like
modernity, return to monkey.
kind of, but not like at all.
Okay,
More in the sense of chariot races are sick as hell.
that's a fact.
That's cool. And we stopped because they were so fucking dangerous. And the extravaganza of it is not something that survived into the modern world. You know, we switched it up with like cars. And that's cool, but
I
it's
mean,
not the same.
also like the animal cruelty of it all.
Yes, 100%, 100%. But this is a way to bypass the animal cruelty.
And still have
You
the same
don't need to
energy.
go fast to still have the speed of it going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's a whole thing. You could have a blast with this.
I do love that.
You know, have like a whole event type thing based around this. That I would love shit like that.
No, I'm 100%
I
supportive of
love
it.
old style clothes. And when I say old style clothes, I need you to understand I'm not talking about like this is what men used to look like. Now they have comfortable t-shirts. What happened? You know, not like that kind of thing.
But
Although
also,
that type of,
obviously,
like,
that kind of thing. Only that kind of thing.
that also exactly. But no, I'm talking about like robes and shit. Like in my journey to find my truest form of self-expression, I've been having fun wearing like slightly more formal clothes at work, right?
Mhm.
I wear like a polo with a long sleeve shirt because I have to, or like a button-up shirt for work every day. And I'm like, oh, look at me. I'm a professional. Hoo.
I know that.
Keyboard. Look
I
at
do
me do
actually know that
taxes.
feeling. No, that's
right?
super real.
But because I don't, because of that, the pendulum has swung just as far the other way from my like private at home life. And I'm like, what if I looked like an amoeba? What if I was just a pile of blankets that walked around? Or I don't know if you saw the picture I posted on Twitter with my beater Hawaiian shirt and gym shorts combo.
That's what you're wearing to the wedding, right?
But yeah, that's how I'm doing the wedding. What if I turned into that guy?
That's so fucking good, though. Hashtag goals.
You know, you gotta flip one end of the spectrum to the other. I couldn't dress fancy all the time. That would be fucking
No,
miserable.
that's too much work.
But being the biggest slob on planet Earth that can also clean up nice when I want to, I'm so attracted to that idea. And that's what's happening.
I'm literally with you 1,000%. I think that's great. I think it's a good life to live. I think it's good vibes only, as the kids say. And I don't know if you're aware, but the kids do be saying things like good vibes only.
No, bad vibes only here. Thank you.
That's a bad vibe. Welcome back to my only vibes.
You,
wait, hold on. Fuck
here. Only vibes.
I don't like that. Only vibes is definitely a thing, and I don't want it.
I was gonna say that's definitely a thing, but you know, more power to you. Fuck! I just scrolled down and I saw this chariot race again. I want to do this so bad. They don't even have capes on. They're making a huge mistake.
What other things can we bring back that are like that?
And that's what I was thinking. Like, what else that's like objectively a little bit too dangerous to do, but also sick as hell that we should bring back?
Yeah, that's
or just like that's cool and has fallen out of fashion. I think now here's a double-edged sword, because I think circuses as a concept have definitely fallen by the wayside, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
I think firstly, there's a lot of reasons that that's a good thing. Yeah, definitely in the U.S. because animal cruelty is a big part of a circus, and that's not cool. I'm not that. So there's one tick on the yikes. Making fun of people for physical disfigurements and disabilities, that's another one. You know, like, and not making fun of, but they were used as the display prop of, look at the bearded lady, look at the man with 3 noses, you know, like freak show stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, you get rid of all that and you just have an acrobatics show, and that's not a bad thing. That's still
totally acceptable. Yeah.
But people also, I don't know if you've noticed this, but the acrobatics show shtick has pretty much been reduced to, in America, once again, like someone like Cirque du Soleil coming through, but you don't have the same kind of traveling circus attraction that like was big back in the day, because you know we've evolved past the point of needing a traveling circus to entertain ourselves. We have amusement parks now.
That is correct. I don't know. Because I agree with you. I also am like, well, then what? Like you said, kind of what else is there then? Like, congratulations, you've now gotten through all the things.
And I think a bunch of fun like acrobatic circus stuff, I think that would still be fun. You know, you still get the knife throwing guy. You still get the guy who's so strong he can eat a steel pipe. You know, you get all that fun stuff still.
Yeah, you get the sword swallow.
Guys being
You know
strong for the
what?
sake of being strong.
I mean,
sword swallowers and stuff, a lot. I was just about to say a lot of that stuff survives in Ren fairs.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, even strongman competitions and stuff like that also still survive in Ren fairs.
What I think we need is, as a society, to just realize that having all that stuff worse but in one place at the same time was the way to be. Too many specialized things now.
I mean, I think I get what you're saying. Also, people who do flame whips should be allowed to do that wherever they want, and I'm not going to tell them not to because they will whip me with their flame whip.
Because, well, Dan, I don't know how to tell you this, but that actually is your fault for letting them do it wherever they want.
You're right. If we had relegated them to only their circus life, we had kept them away like they were supposed to be.
Some cop comes up to a guy on the street. Hey, listen there, Sonny. You can't flame whip here. You got to go to the circus. And he just points behind him, like 30 feet away. There's this giant big top tent that he somehow missed. He's like, oh, thank you, officer. And he goes in there and flame whips and makes $1 billion. It's like the success story of the ages.
The problem, well, that's the other problem with circuses is that, like, people working those circuits didn't get any money. Like, that's not only like.
No, it was definitely.
Like, they were also a workers'
No
rights
one made
nightmare.
enough money to leave the circus.
Yeah, because if they did, they would
They
have
just
left the
made enough
circus.
money to mostly feed everyone at the circus.
Yeah. I can't believe that Noah's a Barnum apologist.
Did I say that?
Yes. Yes, you did. We all heard it. We've all been listening and paying close attention. And we all heard you say, P.T. Barnum, kind of a cool dude.
Well, if that's how you want to take it away, more power to you. I, on the other hand, have a more reasonable approach to this.
I literally thought you were about to say, I, on the other hand, have a more nuanced view. And I was going to lose my mind.
I have a more nuanced view about P.T. Barnum. You see,
Exactly.
Sure, was the system bad? Of course, but think of the joy that he brought to all the children.
The children. So good.
I just want to go to the fucking motorcycle chariot races. That's all I want.
No, I
want to
get you.
gamble on motorcycle chariot races.
What do you think? Where, like, let's look it up. Like, where can we find? Oh, that's what I was asking. Like, what other like old, like Coliseum era things can we modernize to be like not shitty and terrible? Like duels are easy.
This was a thing in the 20s too, for what it's worth.
Sure, but like duels are easy, right? You can have duels, just no death, whatever. It's fine. They do that already. It's called fencing. But I'm like trying to think what are the other like.
I'm good with the concept of blood sports coming back in a non-lethal manner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like how people like still get dressed up in all the armor, but then they have padded weapons that they just beat the shit out of each other with.
Still
Bring
bad.
that
I mean,
back.
still bad for the like their physical health. Like, let's be clear.
Not really.
I mean,
Only if you got some like only if you got some jabroni coming in who doesn't know what he's doing. If you got some guy who has like a training combat weapon, and they're not like stabbing them in the stomach kind of thing, like where
Beating
you
them
would
in the
still
head.
have armor. So you got stuff on. Like no one's gonna let you go in and just beat the shit out of somebody with a stick.
football
like-
players have stuff on, and they have massive trouble with like brain issues.
Dan, all the stuff revolves around them slamming their heads into each other. It's like a huge thing. You know what other even more physical sport happens with no brain injuries? Rugby.
That's fair.
It's just as physical, if not more, and they don't have brain injuries because they don't wear helmets, so they don't hit each other's heads against each other because it's not part of the core training.
Amazing. That's very funny. I hadn't considered this fact. Please continue.
Oh, I'm trying to find it, but all I keep finding is this stupid shit from the 20s where this does look sick as hell, Dan. I will say it's like a guy, and they got capes and like the Roman helmets on for these, but they're being dragged behind like two like muscle bikes, like
So good.
flying down the roadway instead. And then there's a Top Gear thing where they had like 8 bikes in a row. Oh, of course they're not actually showing it in this video, but whatever. Maybe if I put in America.
We should bring back jousting. Jousting is
Motorcycle-
cool.
Jousting is also fun.
Jousting is also one of those ones that's like, oh yeah, there's a reason we don't do that one anymore.
People do still joust. What do you mean?
Okay, rephrase that. There's a reason we don't Originally have not repopularized that one anymore because that one is also definitely like pretty dangerous as far as like stabbing people goes.
Well, I think here's the thing, right? Like
Because
the main issue
even something
is
like
a lot of the examples that you're going to bring up are amateurs entering into the field and making a mess because of that.
I mean maybe, but even in things like medieval times, people get injured doing the jousts all the time, and like that's literally their
Yeah,
job.
but that was also like, the point. Like some of that, and they still weren't supposed to kill people in them, but like it was definitely a lot less accidental than it could have been. Most injuries that would happen now are definitely like an accident.
That's what I'm saying though. Like it's still anything where you put your physical body at risk is gonna have problems.
Yeah, but that's just combat sports and like physical sports. You're always going to have stuff like that. I'm saying in that world there's no reason to like remove that um remove that as a concept just because the potential for injury is a thing, because that's a thing for all like contact sports.
That's fair. That's fair.
You're just not going to have it be like two guys released into a pit where they kill each other
And then
until
kill a
someone
lion.
says, "Okay, you win." And then the lion eats them. Exactly. Like there's still going to be like some rules here.
I do like the lion.
Shit,
I
I
think we should
can't
bring back
find
the lion.
anything on these motorcycle chariots. Maybe if I put modern.
I think that's the part of the Colosseum that I miss the most is the lion that eats people.
That's the thing that we need to have in. The
Mhm.
lions eating people.
Yes. Otherwise, really, what
If
are we
I
doing
see
here?
one more goddamn article that's just like motorcycle chariot races were a thing in the 20s, believe it or not, it was a real thing. No, this video is from like a week ago. I'm looking at it. I can tell. This is very modern. I want to be a motorcycle chariot racer. Is
What
that
do you
so
think the
much to
qualifications are
ask?
for that? Like, what do you think you have to? What training do you have to go through for that?
I would assume the same kind of training that you would have to for like regular motorcycle racing. Then there's like etiquette rules where it's like you're not going to intentionally run into people, you're not going to try and run someone off the course. And if someone is cutting in front of you and they're like in the right, then you need to back up and let them pass you, and then you can try and pass them at a better spot.
Fair
You
enough.
know?
Yeah. I mean, that sounds right to me. I don't know enough about chariots to dispute it. So.
Well, I'm just going off of like general like stock car race rules, you know? Except I would assume that in the world of motorcycle chariot racing, bumping into each other would be less ideal than the average bumping in stock car racing.
I think that's I think that's a pretty safe assumption. Yeah.
But I guess it also depends. Like if you're bumping the bucket into the bucket, that's different than running your motorcycle into theirs or your bucket into their motorcycle, you know?
Mhm.
But then also some of that, like you're not going to turn sideways to make sure that you're like doing great, because you need to keep your eyes on what's going on, because you're ripping down the road at like 35, 40 miles an hour,
Yeah.
standing behind two motorcycles. So that's where your part comes in of you got to slow down and let someone pass you. If they have fully like cut you off at that point, you got to let it happen.
You got to do New
and
Jersey
then come
driver
back.
rules.
Exactly. Like, I don't know if you saw in about the 32nd point of the motorcycle chariot race, the one guy like cuts him off at the corner, and the other guy ends up falling behind and he passes.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
like
I did see that.
you know, that's just the thing that you got to do. You get cut off and you go, then hey, you get cut off and you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm interested. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am interested.
I'm so interested. I'd go to an event like this like today.
Yeah. Speaking of events going on today, where are you going today, Noah?
I'm not doing anything much. How about you?
Oh, okay.
I'm kidding. I'm seeing Weird Al tonight, and
That's
I'm
so
stoked. By
exciting.
the time this comes out, someone's probably going to see me post about it on Twitter.
I'm very
but
jealous
yeah,
for you, to be honest. And
Weird
also,
Al
like,
is
what a
coming
weird
to-
place to be. Like, what's he doing there?
This isn't the first time. He's come here a few times now.
Which is even weirder.
Yeah,
Like, you do understand
I'm
how that's
stoked.
weird.
I'm looking up this tour right now. The unfortunate return of the ridiculous, self-indulgent, ill-advised vanity tour. Oh, this is great. Al's set list will be comprised almost entirely of his original songs, so not his parody stuff, but his stuff where he's like blatantly ripping off other artists and things like that.
Which I'm excited for. I think that's like where he shines the most. Like
I'm
his parodies are
stoked.
good, but like that's where
his parodies are good. They're funny, but like at the end of the day, it does feel every now and then like, oh yeah, me and my friends also sang the wrong words to literally any song you happen to want to name that he's done.
Yeah.
But then where he, like you were saying, he really shines in his originals, where he's like,
he's going for a
just
vibe more than the actual.
he's just goofing on somebody.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, here we are.
Yeah, I feel like things like Smells Like Nirvana is like kind of the perfect middle ground of that, because it is him 100% just dunking on the artist, and also it's a parody of an artist song,
Right?
where like that I think
Because
is like
it's him nailing their style like perfectly,
Mhm.
and then the lyrics are just gibberish.
The lyrics are just him dunking on them. It's just yeah, no one can understand your music. Get wrecked, idiot.
Mm-hmm.
I have a huge soft spot for Weird Al. Did you happen to see the Weird Al trailer? Did you see the trailer for the biopic?
I have not yet.
Can
You
we-
mentioned it
can
yesterday,
we-
and then
it-
I went to work.
I was like, can we take 2 minutes out of the podcast and have you watch it real quick? Because I really want to talk about
trailer. It. Yeah.
Here, send it to me so I can get a refresher.
The one from 11 days ago?
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, so like, here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
I thought this was gonna be an actual a biopic.
Sure is, friendo.
And I can't, no way. I'm so shocked in hindsight. Of course, this would happen. That it's not going to be an actual biopic. I am so excited. I love the shot of him just like strutting around stage shirtless, spitting whiskey in the air.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. No,
because it's not Al's reputation at all, right?
No,
like his
not even a
reputation
little.
has always been, oh yeah, he's like a pretty like upright, clean dude. As like a general rule, that's all you hear about him. And then here it is, like, oh yeah, here he is with his like sexy maid in the background as he's like, oh yeah, I'm a very surprising fellow struggling to close his mansion door. He's fighting people in a diner. What the hell is this?
I don't know, but I love it so much.
Does anyone have an accordion even mean?
I don't know.
Now, Dan, you said this in the part that I cut because we were watching. But yeah, you are correct. Daniel Radcliffe, perfect casting for this role. What the hell?
Dude, I didn't expect it at all, to be honest. He did. I like if you told me it was Daniel Radcliffe, like at the in a void, like without any like seeing it, would have been like, that's a weird casting choice. Not into it. But you see him like with the wig and the mustache, and it's like, oh shit, it's little baby Weird Al. Look at that.
I think what always threw me was like I heard about it, and I'm like, and then I saw the pictures of him dressed up in that stupid fucking shirt, and I'm like, he's too jacked to be Weird Al though.
And now you know why.
Now that I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, because this is a parody of Al. This is just a fucking riff on the idea of Weird Al. What if Weird Al was like a boozing rock star?
I love it so much. I was reading something. There was an older fucking like back in like the UHF days. Weird Al did a similar thing, and I'm trying to find it. I'm struggling, but I know it was a thing. I remember seeing it. Seeing people talking about it. I'm checking it right now to see if I can find details on it. Back in like the UHF days, he did do a similar thing. That was entirely a riff on it was like a riff on documentaries about artists.
I don't remember that.
I didn't either, and then people were talking about it. I'm like, oh shit.
I love this. So I just Googled Weird Al scandal just to see if I could find something. And we get a couple of things here. Like there's this one Huffington Post article that's Weird Al caught with dead hooker photo, but it's a picture of him posing next to a grave site for a family called Hooker.
That's extremely funny.
So that's okay. But then there's this other article that's like, will Weird Al's self-proclaimed lack of scandal and controversy make his upcoming biopic a bore?
You fools. You don't even understand.
The big title being, Weird Al lacks one key thing most other stars have. Could it ruin his new biopic?
Yes. I imagine thinking that someone needs to have scandal to have like an entertaining life story.
I love the fact that like, since that clearly is like a trend though with all of these type of movies, like the Queen one, the Elton John one, and well, it's not a Queen one, that was a Freddie Mercury one, but yeah. But yeah, like, so for this, he's like, what if I turned my own character into a mess?
What if I committed what some may call character assassination, but I will call character growth. Can't assassinate a character if it's me.
Here's the official synopsis of the movie. You
Oh,
ready?
I'm so ready. Yes, 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 yes.
The biopic holds nothing back, exploring every facet of Yankovic's life. From his meteoric rise to fame with early hits like Eat It and Like a Surgeon, to his torrid celebrity love affairs and famously depraved lifestyle. Weird, the Al Yankovic story, takes audiences on a truly unbelievable journey through Yankovic's life and career, from gifted child prodigy to the greatest musical legend of all time.
You know,
And you know
what?
what?
You know what it reminds me of?
That's what it should be. That's it.
It reminds me of almost the same energy as fucking Tenacious D.
Yeah, very similar.
In like a
energy.
really good, in exactly the way that you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like in that we know that we are just goofing off, and you know what? I don't care. You shouldn't care. No one should care. Stop caring. We made a deal with Satan. It's fine. Just let it happen. Yeah.
Actually, now that I'm down this Weird Al rabbit hole, here's another thing that popped up with Weird Al scandal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 10 musicians who refuse to let him parody their songs.
Ooh, yeah.
You ready?
Go for it. Yeah.
Let's see. I guess at first Coolio wasn't down with the idea of Amish Paradise initially.
Correct. He came around, though, if I'm not mistaken.
He did. Okay, so Paul McCartney did not let Al do Chicken Pot Pie instead of Live and Let Die.
It's very funny.
But here's the thing: Paul McCartney loves Al. Is the thing
correct? There's an old. I think there's an old story about
the post about how he realized he had made it when he went to a party, and it's like, oh my god, it's Weird Al, and it was Paul McCartney.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Paul's issue was he wanted him to do it, but he couldn't make it about chicken because Paul McCartney's a vegetarian.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to condone the eating of animal flesh, but it wouldn't work with tofu pot pie.
That's very funny. It's also very true.
Apparently, he still plays bits and pieces of the song during live shows.
During live shows, I was just going to say.
McCartney has not given him the permission to record it, so that's it.
You know what, though? And I think that's also like one of those things that, like, kind of going back to what we were talking about off mic a couple of days ago, it's one of the things that makes Al really unique is that, like, willingness to say, I want them to say yes because I want everyone to kind of be in on the joke with me, right? Like, he doesn't, even when he's making fun of somebody, he wants them to be in on it with him. Because that's the kind of the fun and the joy of it is I'm doing this fun, silly thing and everyone's on board.
And that's actually another thing that ties great into number 2 on this list, which is Eminem. When he did Couch Potato, that was going to be the single off of that new album. And because, Lose Yourself was like huge at the time. And Eminem gave him permission to parody the song, but he didn't give him permission to use it as a single or in a music video because he didn't want it to color his own personal legacy.
You know what?
He was worried that people would see the Al thing and he would have issues with like kids separating the jokiness of Al's video from the seriousness and like personal elements of his own stuff.
I can excuse me. I can kind of see that though. Like I get that, like on some level.
No, yeah, I get it.
Don't know that Eminem needs to take himself that seriously, but
Another person who could probably take himself a little less seriously is Prince.
Yep, Prince won't let him do it. Yep.
He won't let him do a single thing. Too late now. Prince will never let him do it at this point. But over the years, he didn't want him to touch a single one of his songs, which I get that. Prince is a guy who famously takes himself really seriously, so I'm not surprised.
Not surprised.
But I am a little bummed out. I think a Weird Al Prince song could have been interesting.
Or at least Prince style. I think that's one of those I would love to see him do, like a parody on the artist themselves, not necessarily a specific song.
I guess Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin also very big on that. They wouldn't let him touch their songs at all. He didn't let him put a Zeppelin song on any of his polka medleys or anything. But they did let him take a little bit of Black Dog and put it into his song Trapped in the Drive-Thru, which is Al says is like huge because apparently Zeppelin is very tight on their songs, not letting people touch anything.
Wild. I love this. I'm genuinely very fascinated by all the people who say A, the people who say absolutely not, and B, the people who say, well, right? Like, because I do think that there's the I don't know, it's just interesting. It's so interesting this dynamic that Weird Al's kind of built up around the fact that he's like, no, I'm going to get permission. I'm going to do this right. Like everyone is going to like this. It'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the last bit of that article?
Oh no, there's more. I was just reading through something real quick.
Oh,
The Coolio thing. There's way more to it than I thought.
oh,
So
drama.
2 people from Al's label said that they had personally talked to Coolio and that he was cool with the parody.
He was Coolio. With
Halfway
it,
into production, his label said that Coolio's management didn't like it, even though Coolio was okay with it, and said that they would iron things out. So he continued with the recording and finished the album. Since legally he's clear because it's a parody and falls under fair use.
Yeah.
There wasn't much that they could do about it. He just like tries to get people's permission out of respect, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a respect thing. Yeah.
But at the Grammy Awards, Coolio had spoken out saying that he wasn't with it and he thought his song was way more serious and that he didn't like appreciate him disrespecting the song.
Oof.
And he said that the record company had asked for permission and he said no. However, in later years, Coolio apologized, saying it was a stupid thing for me to do. It was one of the dumbest things I've ever done in my career.
Amazing.
And I think that's funny.
That's extremely funny.
Let's see. Michael Jackson, obviously he gave him permission for Bad and Beat It.
Yeah, not only that, he gave him the set.
Yeah, like he got the whole thing together for that. But he wouldn't let him take Black or White to do Snack All Night.
I'm actually kind of okay with that.
Black or White. Me too, because he's like, he sees it as more of a message song and didn't really like the idea of a parody. And Al's like, yeah, I totally get that. That 100% makes sense. So he, once again, he will still play it live every now and then. But for the most part, that's going to be it. I can't believe it. Weezer gave permission to put their one song into the polka medley, the alternative polka. And then they rescinded permission.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Rivers Cuomo decided that he didn't want the song in the medley at all. They had to physically cut the song out of the medley.
Imagine having
he
been
later released an
unmixed,
unmastered version with the extra seconds. What? But I've heard that version. I wonder if a couple made it out, because the version I've heard Weird Al going, "Wee you, I look just like Buddy Holly in a polka." I've heard that.
I definitely
have to listen to that.
But
later.
I also the polka medleys are the big for me for Weird Al, because I don't like.
That's fair. I like them a lot because that's just like, I think they're a lot of fun. Let's see, another denial is Daniel Powder. His song "Bad Day." Al wanted to do "You Had a Bad Date," but yeah, he said no to Al at first, and then and then the day they went to record "White and Nerdy," they got a call saying he's like, "Hey, you can do it after all," and then they were like, "Hey, you missed your window. I'm sorry, we're not doing it anymore."
That's even funnier. Imagine just having to be like, thanks, but also we've decided to go with someone else.
Honestly, like, embarrassing for him.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know who James Blunt is, but James Blunt said that they could use his song "You're Beautiful" to release the spoof "You're Pitiful." But then his record label said, "Do not." So instead, he did "White and Nerdy." I love the fact that somehow 2 people denied Al 2 different songs for the same album, and instead we end up getting "White and Nerdy" out of that.
Which I think is arguably, like, that and "Not Much Paradise," I feel like are his most popular songs. I feel like. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wildly misjudging how much people listen to those, but like those are like the 2 like keystone Weird Al parodies.
Honestly, like, fucking huge.
For the Rolling Stone did a poll on it at one point. Hold on, I'm checking right now. No, number 1 it's Fat, Eat It, then "Not Much Paradise" and "White and Nerdy." And then
Yeah, that
"Smells Like
makes sense,
Nirvana."
actually.
That tracks. That doesn't surprise me.
He did a Lady Gaga parody, "Perform This Way."
"Perform This Way" is great.
And her crew said no, because they're like, we need to hear it. So he wrote out the lyrics and sent it, and they're like, no, we need to hear it. Otherwise the answer's no. Sent it in, and he's like, well, I thought that's weird. Gaga would know what her own song sounds like, but whatever. And then they said no. So then he posted the song on YouTube saying, hey, here it is for free. Can't be on my next album because they said no. And apparently that was the first that Lady Gaga had heard about it.
That's extremely funny.
Because she loved the song.
What is it with management not just coming to their, like, I get it to a point, right? I get that management's whole thing is like kind of part of their job is to be that the midpoint, right? And work the brand, whatever. But like,
Yeah. But something where
just
you're
tell
like,
your
hey,
artist, tell your artist what's going
another
on.
professional, a whole
Exactly.
ass professional is saying, hey, professional to professional, I want to do this and I want your permission. I don't need it, but I want to do it anyway. Because that's a big thing for Weird Al that I respect a lot.
No,
is he
that's
doesn't
100%.
make money off of a song if the group did not consent to him using it.
Yep.
He might still put it up for free. He'll still perform it from time to time. But he's not going to sit out here and like...
Yeah, he's not going to make an album out of it.
So since Gaga loved the song and called it an empowering rite of passage...
Huh.
It ended up on the album, and all the proceeds from that song and music video went to the Human Rights Campaign.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
Right? This was a fun article to read. This made me happy.
It's one of those things also that like I do feel like in the maybe it's just the world I live in and the people that I've talked to. I do feel like in the public perception, Weird Al is like, oh yeah, it's Weird Al, like whatever. But I feel like especially in like the late, like the early 2000s, late 90s, it's easy to forget that Weird Al was and continues to this day to be just a wildly respected member of like the musical community. Like
honestly,
like he's part of the old guard at this point. And like it's weird because he does, silly parody, whatever, but like he's been doing it forever. And I feel like everyone kind of respects Weird Al, even if they don't necessarily like
yeah, even if they don't like him that much, you gotta respect what he's done with the scene.
Exactly. Because there really isn't anyone else who does. There aren't very many else who do like professional scale parodies like that, or comedy songs even in general are pretty hard to land on, I feel like.
Because like I understand this is very possibly another entry into Noah's a hypocrite corner. Because I do hate YouTube parody music.
I mean, that's valid.
But that's the thing, right? Like my issue with like YouTube parody music so often is just that like there's so much that's just not it's not professionally done. It's like a person with a ukulele or a piano, and they Bo Burnham their way through a song and make it about a current event type of thing. And it's just like, okay,
you're basic.
Like, stop being like stupid.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And I think that it's hard to do parody music. I'm not going to sit here and pretend it's not. But it's very easy to do bad parody music. Like, it's very easy to be like, yeah, I threw this together in a couple of hours in my room, whatever. I don't know. It's interesting. It's very interesting, and it's such an interesting thing to have seen Weird Al make a career out of it.
Yeah, and it makes me really happy too. It's just
of course.
Like, hey, look at Weird Al. He puts
the work in. Our boy, look at our boy.
And like he goes so hard in all his videos too. Like the Fat music video,
it slaps.
And Eat It, where he's like, well, especially Fat. He's like in that suit and he's fucking miserable the whole time.
He's doing it though. He's got it. He's got to do.
But I was gonna say he's doing all the Michael Jackson dances in like this 80-pound, 120-pound suit. Like the range of motion he loses in that is insane, but he still does it.
Yeah, because that's what heroes do. I don't know. I find it really interesting. I find the whole dynamic really interesting. I find him as a human being really interesting, and I think we should get him for the show.
Yeah. You think we can get him on the show?
Honestly, of like A-list musicians, maybe. I mean, right? Like obviously no, right? Like realistically, obviously no. But almost maybe. You know what I mean?
It makes me think about like me and Jackson's bit about how there's a part of us that believes we could get like Dan Giesling on the podcast.
Exactly.
Who is like, no big deal. He's one of the bigger names of Big Brother. He's like an actual real life celebrity in addition to being like an internet celebrity. He had a publicity deal signed with, I don't remember what, like gossip rag to like cover the birth of his child. Like, there's not a single chance, but he feels very accessible. And
Weird Al definitely feels extremely accessible. Like, I feel like Weird Al could be my friend.
Right? I can't believe it. I'm listening to the alternative polka right now because I remember it so
I
clearly.
wondered why you got so quiet.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've just been like, there's got to be. He must have put it onto a different one,
Maybe.
right?
Or you're losing your
Because
fucking mind.
I've heard it. I know I am so sure. I
Okay.
remember the weird goofy song noises that he puts in the background.
Okay, Grandpa Noah, let's get you back to the home.
Honestly, that's how I feel right now. I feel like fucking dumb. I can't remember anything.
You're getting
anymore.
gaslit by the society as a whole.
Well, here's a clip I think of just the Buddy Holly bit. It is exactly in the song where I thought it was. Holy shit. Okay. So somehow, Dan, the CD that I borrowed from my cousin actually has the full thing. Like, it's actually the version with Buddy Holly on it, which explains also why that part of the song sounds a little rough, because it is not completed like the rest of it. But wild. Holy shit. The more you know.
I don't feel like I've learned anything here today.
I've learned much.
I don't know things.
Huh. So let me bring us to a new topic then, to drag us wildly off of Weird Al to help us wind down for the afternoon.
Please,
you ready?
Please. Yeah.
Have you ever noticed a little fly in the urinal? Ever?
Oh, the little stickers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've heard a lot of things about that, but this is the first time I've seen someone claim that it helps lower cleaning bills.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense, right? Because I always heard that it, like, wherever they put it is, like, in theory, a spot that'll help it splash less.
Yes.
You know? But I guess, like, it's just in general, the concept of it helps people realize, like, what they're doing so that they actually try to
not be disgusting.
Piss on the floor.
Not be
Which,
gross
firstly,
pieces of shit.
Fucking blows my mind. I've always done my best to just, like, if I can, shoot right in the hole. Because that's always been the most satisfying for me. It shows that I'm actually the greatest guy that's ever lived in the world. But apparently that's not a popular thing.
Yeah,
which I guess I should have judged by the state of, like, movie theater bathrooms.
I was gonna say by all bathrooms ever. Yes, probably could have figured that one out. Yeah, people are fucking disgusting. Like, it's all I have. It's that people are fucking grody. Like, just the worst. Humanity as a whole, a mistake.
Oh, hikey. Just every now and then.
Just no, not every now and then. All times. Cancel people. Reject modernity. Return to not human. But
what a mess. Yeah,
it is absolutely a part of it is absolutely to reduce cleaning costs. That is the thing.
I love that. That's just kind of neat. I love it.
I
asked a voice.
Yeah, I also think it's neat. It's one of those things that also I've always wondered as to, like, the actual efficacy of, right? Like, kind of like like, is there a point on a urinal where it is possible to achieve zero splashback? Is that a thing?
I don't think that that's true.
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. I don't know. I don't have the answers. I just have the questions.
I think here's the issue, right? Like, it all depends on how tall you are is the greater problem.
Oh.
If you're taller, your angles are going to be different.
The world's not made for tall people, including urinals. And it's really sad that we've gotten this far and we're not ready to accept that, you know?
I actually think being tall makes it easier to go without splashback.
Bold. Okay.
Yeah, it's what I mean is there's no universal single spot.
Got
Whereas, like, yeah, like, you can't just put one spot and be like, there it is. There's just, like, the back of the urinal. You just have to hit it the right angle. This is a, high level
piss strat.
Yeah, next level piss strats going on here.
Noah's got them piss strats.
I hate this. I don't want to be known as the guy with the piss strats.
Pog now stands for piss the game. What is this episode? Noah, what have we done?
I don't know. We talked about Weird Al. We talked about bringing back, like, the Roman circus.
I want to go home. I'm too hungover for this.
I'm very sorry, Dan. At least you have Special summer edition Red Bull, strawberry apricot flavor.
You know what?
Energy
You know what?
drink
I do have that.
vitalizes body and mind.
You know what? Hold on. I do have that. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Here, hold on. I do have that.
I can't believe you're cracking open another one. Nice.
Cut the episode there. That's it. I'm going back to bed.